All right, let's talk about something that might sound a little out there. What if you could build this insane, powerful attraction with a woman without ever even touching her? Yeah, that's what we're diving into, the pure psychology of connection.
So let me ask you straight up, attraction without touch? Is that even a thing? I mean, everything we hear is about physical escalation, right? You gotta break the touch barrier. Well, we're about to flip that whole idea on its head.
And here's the absolute heart of it. The strongest kind of attraction, the one that really sticks, it doesn't start with your hands. It starts in her mind. It's the kind of thing that has her thinking about you hours, even days later. That's the goal, right?
So it all starts in the mind. And, it's kind of wild how many guys get this completely backward. The typical advice is all about, touch your arm, lean in close, escalate, escalate, escalate. But look, that's like trying to build a house starting with the roof. It misses the entire foundation. The real stuff, the attraction that lasts, it's not about what you do with your hands. It's about your presence, your focus, and these little psychological signals you're sending out.
This brings us to this key concept, psychological pull. Okay, think about it like this. You've seen those movie scenes, right? Where two characters are just looking at each other across a room. No words, no touching. But you can feel the tension, the electricity. That is what we're talking about. It's this gravity you create just with your energy, your mystery, your vibe. It's a feeling that lingers long after you've left the room.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we build that pull? Well, the first big step is to make her feel seen. And I mean truly seen. This is not about you. It's not about your cool stories or trying to impress her. It's about taking the spotlight off yourself and shining it completely on her. It's about making her feel like she's the only person in the room.
And this right here, this is the perfect breakdown. On one side, you have what most guys do. They talk too much, they're constantly trying to impress, they throw out these generic compliments like, "You have pretty eyes." It's fine. But on the other side, you have what actually works. You remember the little things. You listen to understand, not just to figure out what you're going to say next. And then, you bring it up later. That one move shows you are actually paying attention. And let me tell you, in today's world, that is so rare, it's like a superpower.
And check out the domino effect this has. It's a simple 3-step process. First, you listen, like really listen. So she feels heard. What happens next? She feels safe. She relaxes, her guard comes down, and she starts to open up for real. And that moment right there, that's where the magic happens. A genuine emotional bond is formed, way before any physical stuff even enters the picture.
All right, let's move on to the next piece of the puzzle, building tension and intrigue. Look, this is super important. If you are too available, too needy, too easy, the attraction just fizzles out. It's gone. Attraction needs a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of space to breathe and grow.
And this is such a great example of how to do it. Imagine she texts you, wants to hang out last minute. The default reaction for a lot of guys is, "Yes, absolutely, I'll be right there." But instead, you say something like this: "I'd like to, but I've got plans. Let's do another day." Now, this isn't about playing hard to get in a manipulative way. No. It just sends a clear message. You have a life, you have your own stuff going on, you have self-respect. And trust me, that is ridiculously attractive.
This whole idea applies to how you talk, too. So many of us are guilty of oversharing, right? We lay out our entire weekend minute by minute. First I did this, then I did that. But what if instead you just said, "It was interesting. I'll tell you about it another time." See what that does? You're leaving a little gap. You're creating some mystery. And her brain is automatically going to start trying to fill in that gap. She's now thinking about you, investing her mental energy in you. Game changer.
Okay, next section. And this is something that, honestly, almost everyone overlooks: mastering your delivery. We've talked a lot about what to do, but now let's talk about how you do it. Because how you speak, your tone, your pacing, can literally be more powerful than the actual words you're saying.
Just look at this example. Imagine saying this rushed. I really enjoy talking to you. It just falls flat. But now imagine this. You lean in a little and say, and then you just pause for a second. What does that do? It creates anticipation. It makes her wonder what's coming next. It pulls her in. That pause, that calm, deliberate pace, it screams confidence.
Here's another killer example of using intriguing language. Instead of a direct compliment like, "You're so interesting," you say, "There's something about you I can't quite figure out yet." Whoa, see the difference? Now it's not a statement, it's a puzzle.
She's immediately thinking, wait, what does he mean? What is it? You've just hooked her mind. She's now actively engaged in figuring you out.
And of course, we can't talk about delivery without talking about probably the most powerful nonverbal tool we have, eye contact. And there's a real art to it. Here's the 4-step recipe. Step 1, just be present. Calm, focused, soft gaze. Step 2, hold that eye contact just a tiny bit longer than you normally would. Just a beat. Step 3, and this is crucial, let her be the one to look away first. This builds that tension. And finally, step 4, when she inevitably looks back, reward her with a small, genuine smile. Boom. You've just created a whole conversation without saying a single word.
So, let's bring it all together. These are the pillars. This isn't about memorizing lines or using cheesy tricks. It's a whole mindset. It's about making her feel seen, being a challenge, creating that mystery and intrigue, mastering your voice, and using powerful, confident eye contact. This is the real architecture of psychological attraction.
And that's really what I want to leave you with. After going through all of this, all the mental and emotional strategy, I want you to ask yourself, where does real connection actually begin for you? Is it in that first touch, or does it start long before that, in the mind? Definitely something to chew on.